Welcome back again. Well, this has been a little bit on the politic side because we've got all these, we've got this June 14th.
Yes, we do.
I have Stan Height with me. And Stan, what are you running for?
I'm running for Sheriff of Clark County.
Sheriff of Clark County?
Yes.
That's a pretty big job, isn't it?
It's the largest police department in the state. Covers 8,000 square miles. Encompasses about 5,500 police, civilian, and police officers.
And you have to, you're running to take charge of them all.
I am.
God, I run the other way.
I was a police officer here with Metro for 30 years, so I loved my career, had a great time, retired.
So you started from the bottom and kind of worked up.
Yes.
Starting and now, big difference, right?
Big difference, yes.
What's the greatest difference that you've seen, or the biggest, whatever you want to
Well, when I hired on, there were 200 police officers. Now there's 3,500.
3,500
Yes.
police officers.
Yes,
we had three subs. Enough?
No, it's not even close. We're way below what we need.
Because I'm understanding all the states are having the same problem. They don't have enough people going in, and a lot of them are getting shot, and they're getting killed, and things are happening, and they never do the right thing. I don't know what's going on. What's happening?
It's a defund the police movement. A lot of things. The George Floyd thing hurt police work quite a bit, but I think as we get the word out, yes, we need to get the word out just how great our police officers are. They give, they do. They're compassionate. Police officers are pulling over, helping people with car problems. They're giving out of their own pocket to people that don't have whenever they come across. I mean, there's so many great things that police officers do, and the word doesn't get out. The media just likes to highlight the one or two national incidences.
When a cop, he pulls a car over a stranger, what goes through his head?
Well, first he's looking for the temperament of the person, whether it's a safety issue or not that's going to come up. He wants to gauge the person, of course. He's looking around him to see, make sure there's no dangerous elements, and if there are, he tries to mitigate them with observance and instinct.
What goes on inside of him personally? What went on inside of you when you pull somebody over and you have no idea who this person is? You've just pulled them over because they did something against the law, and you pull them over. What?
To me, I was confident. We're well trained. We're community oriented. We love the people that we pull over, even if they do violate a law. We pull them over.
To correct it, or
trying to protect other people from getting hurt. That's mainly why we enforce traffic, because the more tickets you write, I know it's a ugly thing to think about, but the more tickets you write, the less accidents, less property damage, less fatalities.
And that's a fact.
And that's a fact. You write more tickets, people slow down. They're a little more careful, and we don't have people dying on the roadways. On the roadways,
because we always say, there's a cop. He's hiding around the corner. He's hiding. He's going to give me a ticket. All he wants to do is write a ticket. But now you've just clarified something by saying that calms that person down.
There's a safety feature behind it.
There's a safety feature behind it. And they get the ticket, then they tell their friend or their wife or their whatever. So they all start thinking, we've got to be careful out there.
And we don't write tickets for everything. We may pull somebody over for an expired plate. And so that's not really as much of a safety. Everybody has to pay for registration. So we pull people over and let them know your registration is expired. Yeah. Now, some people get a ticket, some won't. Yeah. It just depends on the circumstances. There are mitigating circumstances. Well, I didn't know that it was expired. There's compassion.
Well,
we like to give compassion. Yeah. So we don't write tickets every time that there's a reason to.
The reason. So now, what are you, Max? What are you going to be running? I'm going to stand.
What's my platform?
Yes. So what is your platform, and what is the thing that you really, really want to change that you've seen over the years, and you think if this could happen and this could work this way, would it be better?
There's like a half a dozen, and there's
let's
so many.
The half a dozen.
Okay. I want to improve morale in the police officers. I want to improve the image of the police department to the community. Okay. Those are two very big factors right there. That's not going to happen overnight.
What's the image that we have
right now? People are afraid of police. People are wondering, gee, we want to defund. We want, I'm afraid that big bad uniform could write me a ticket. It's like, I want them to feel safe around a police officer, not afraid.
You want them to see a police car and say, oh, great, there's a police car. Whereas we don't do that. We go around, we see a police car. Oh my goodness, we've got to do this. Yes. Oh, I've got to go. I'm going to drive 10 miles slower than I was driving, and the limit's this. But we get nervous. I see a police car, I get nervous.
I want them to understand that the police are there as good Samaritans, good people that want to help, want to be there to protect you. When you see a police officer, I want you to say, oh, I feel good. I feel safe.
But we don't.
Well, that's what I want to change. I want to improve that.
Because I know I'm not the only one that thinks that way.
It's going to take demonstrating our compassion, demonstrating our love for the community, our partnership with the community, because that's what we are. We're partners with you in the community in protecting, ourselves. I want to be out there as a say I was a police officer, not the sheriff.
Yeah.
I want to be out there as a person that's doing things that makes you safer,
yes.
that makes you feel better. Now, sometimes it's going to, like I said, it's going to involve writing you a ticket. It's going to involve a guy who committing a robbery. I'm going to arrest him and take him to jail.
Absolutely.
But you're not a robber. You're not necessarily a bad driver. You make a mistake on the road.
I'm the greatest driver that ever lived.
Yeah. So there's compassion there. We show, we give second chances, so to speak.
So you want to try to build the morale of the layman to the police department. You want to build them up to like you more.
Well,
and do you feel that it's the police, the whole unit, not just you, the whole unit that has given this impression that we've now become afraid of police, and we should not be afraid? I was brought up, if you want to know the time, ask a policeman.
Yes, and I want that back. When I would take a lunch break or a dinner break in a restaurant, people would come up to me and ask me stuff, and I like that. I love the interaction of the community. Some people don't like being interrupted from their meals, but I happen to like that.
Yes.
It's a I don't know, like I said, a partnership with the community.
Yes,
and
they're not afraid of you.
Right. So I think the first thing we can do, if we can improve the image of the police officer and the police department to the community, I think the morale of the police officers will also improve.
Yes.
And that also runs hand in hand with the administration. You need an administration, a sheriff that leads from the top down, that supports their officers.
Yes.
Not just out there scrutinizing everything. We need discipline. We need leadership. We need supervision. But you can
do that nicely.
Yeah, we need a sheriff. We need an executive staff that has the backs of our police officers.
Absolutely.
When they make mistakes, there's forgiveness.
Yes.
We don't need to penalize for it. It's not the cars are black and white. Our attitudes towards our officers don't need to be black and white.
No, not at all.
They don't need to be.
No.
Yeah.
So what else is up your sleeve?
So improve morale, improve the image of the police department, improve the communication to the police department from the citizens. Right now, our PBX has been removed. I don't know if anybody even understands what the term PBX is.
All right.
PBX is basically our non-emergency call takers. When I was an officer, we had PBX. And there are people that can direct your calls throughout the department. When a citizen calls in and says, how do I get a hold of animal control? I've got a dead animal out here. You call the non-emergency number. They direct you, boom, boom. Or I have an emergency and they didn't call 911. Let's say I have an emergency, boom, they're directed to a dispatcher. They get help immediately.
Because a lot of people say, I called the police, they didn't come out. I called the police, they're not interested. I called the
right
police.
now, it's impossible.
It's like I had this all the time.
Right now,
we call the police not to say, hello, how are you? Are you having a nice day? That never happens.
Well,
normally they call the police, there's something wrong, or they want to know something.
Or they have need information.
Or they need information.
Even a police officer would call PBX and say, I'm on a robbery call. I need to talk to a robbery detective. Can you plug me into a detective bureau?
Yes.
Boom, transfers him. He's talking to a robbery detective, and he's getting a tip or some information.
That doesn't happen now.
No, there's no PBX.
So you got problem in your
communication. I've tried twice in the last year to get a hold of the police department, and I sat for half an hour waiting with a 311 call, and I gave up. I just literally gave up. We used to call. I would call around Christmas time.
And you know the route. You know the route and how to do it all.
No, not anymore. There is no route. Now you call, if you need an officer right away, you got to call 911, and you'll get one. It may even take a minute or two there. But this is a civilian staff. It doesn't cost a lot of money to have a PBX dispatch system.
So civilian.
The salaries are less.
We need more civilian staff.
Yes, we need this PBX. We need the call takers.
You need the call takers just to direct calls. All you do is sit and answer a phone and direct calls.
Yes, and we need more, like I said, we need more police officers. The recruiting is going to be one of my first concerns. Recruiting. We are down 270.
So what are you going to offer a young kid comes in, and what are you going to offer them?
I'm going to offer them a career, not a job. I'm going to offer them a career with benefits, retirement, and excitement, and upward mobility, lateral mobility. There's so many different things you can do with Metro. Right now we've gotten rid of our mounted patrol, but we're going to get that back. Because mounted patrol is the horses. We're going to get that back. It's very valuable for
we have
PR.
that in England a lot.
Oh, it's a valuable asset. We're going to get back.
What's the difference? Why does that make people want to sit on this big horse and everything?
You know, the horses attract people to them. That's that morale thing. The horses attract kids and adults. They want to pet the horse. That attracts people to the officer instead of repelling them away.
It's a friendly thing. Yes.
Yes.
As you said,
So it's a morale thing, and I think we can get that back. I know that's an expensive thing, and I understand that's something.
Well, nothing's impossible. This is Vegas. Come on, there's more money here than you shake a stick at.
I think if we improve morale, it'll actually reduce costs in other areas. It's a synergism type thing.
Yes.
Where you do something that may cost a little bit, it actually saves in another.
Saves in another way.
And so I want to bring that back.
So what you gain on the swings, you lose on the roundabouts. What you lose on the roundabouts, you gain on the horses.
Yes, yes.
There you go.
But recruitment, we're down 275 officer positions. And that's because of due to COVID, because we weren't getting new hires, because the current administration was requiring the vaccine before they would let them hire on, which is absolutely unconstitutional.
Okay, so if you get this position and you win and everything else, what does it take up as of time and day? Of course, obviously you want to be very sort of in there all the time, so you're going to be working hard.
That is my leadership style.
That has always been your leadership style.
Participative, be right involved.
Be involved.
Not gonna I'll delegate because that's part of leadership, but I'm going to be right in the trenches with my officers. I'm going to know their concerns.
And you're going to personally make sure that you've got your whole.
That's not something I'm going to delegate. I will delegate to get help because it's a big department.
Yes.
But I'm going to go to each substation.
You want to be on top.
I am. I'm going to go to each substation.
What is a substation?
Substation is an area command. The city is big.
Yes.
2.3 million people.
Yes.
We have 10 different substations around the valley to different neighborhoods to make it workable logistically. So I'm going to be going to each one individually, addressing myself to the captain that runs that area command. I'm going to sit in the briefing and listen to the officers' concerns, listen to the captain's concerns, listen to the neighborhood's concerns, and that'll be one area. And then I'm going to hit the next one and the next one.
And so you're going to make it easier for these substations and these.
To communicate with the top guy that can help with those, facilitate those concerns.
And then you're going to have people. You're going to employ people to dedicate what you can't, because you can't do everything.
No.
But you've got.
No. Yeah, I'm going to solve the problems however it takes. That's where I'll do delegation.
Now I'm going to ask that. This is maybe a delicate question, but I don't think so. What about pay? Are they getting paid enough?
I think it's a pretty good salary. Yes, I think they make pretty good money.
They make pretty good money. So
they do. So I don't think pay is an issue with morale.
Because teachers is an issue. A teacher doesn't get enough pay. It's been going for years and years and years.
I know with me, I never had a complaint about the pay. It was never. You're not going to get rich being a cop.
No.
But
you've also got enough.
You can buy a home.
You can buy a home. You can have a nice family. You can have everything.
You can pay for the groceries. Yes. Now with this inflation thing happening, that could change a lot. That can change a lot.
Well, that's changing a lot.
I'm talking about up to now because I'm really afraid of our government. I'm really afraid of our administration right now, and that's why this is the whole reason I jumped into it. A false election, totally false in my opinion. Absolutely false. Really? I mean, I've seen all the evidence of it. Yep. We've got a false president, and because of that, our government is growing, our rights are shrinking, and I'm a constitutionalist. I believe in the Constitution. And they're trying to take away, right now,
trying to take our rights away.
Right now, before the WHO, the president has given away, or is trying to give away our sovereignty in health. They want to give it to the WHO, which belong to the Chinese Communist Party. He's trying to say they have a right to decide when we get locked up, when we wear masks, when we take shots in America. In America, President Biden wants to give that away. That is not U.S. sovereignty. That is WHO, World Health Organization.
That does not belong to.
And that is being voted on right now. He's actually voting on that. He's trying to give that up right now to WHO, and that's the type of thing.
So this is
as sheriff, I can fight the mandates that take place.
This is because Joe Biden, with all these different things going on, owes to China.
I don't know the reasons. I'm not going to get into the politics behind it.
Get that out
I'm just telling you a fact right now that he's trying to give away our sovereignty. That's all I'm saying. Why he wants to do it?
Our president. I won't mention his name either.
I won't get into the reasons why he's doing it, but he's doing it. That's a fact. He's giving away our sovereignty to the WHO, which is controlled by the CCP.
Start reading, start listening, start.
It's happening right now as this interview is going on. It's happening right now.
It's happening right now.
And so what's going to happen is if this goes on, Another sovereignty is going to control us. They're going to tell us you have to lock up. You're going to close your churches. We're going to close your non-essential businesses. They may close all our businesses. They may try to wreck our entire economy. The sheriff has the ultimate.
We'll be all working in the cotton fields and the rice mines or wherever we're going to be working in.
The sheriff has the ultimate legal authority in Clark County. He doesn't answer to the governor or the federal government or anybody. That's why it's so important you pick the sheriff, that you vet your sheriff. Because as your sheriff, I will stand up for our constitutional rights.
I love this guy.
And I will not allow it to happen. We will not be closing our churches. They will not be taking away our guns, and they will not be closing our businesses. It's very important who you pick as your sheriff.
How many people are running with you?
There's 2 others.
2 others?
2 others.
How's it look?
You know, I'm up against a giant. One giant. Another guy, Lombardo's Choice, Kevin McMahill.
Yeah.
He picked him and immediately had $1.3 million in his coffers to just throw out TV commercials, to throw out all these ads. Well,
sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes, you know.
I'm fighting so hard that I'm actually competing. I'm actually competitive.
You compete. You keep going. Whatever you're saying and whatever you're doing, you keep doing it.
I give my campaign to the Lord, to my God, and you know, it's up. I'm following the journey, one day at a time.
One day at a time, and
I'm not focused on the result. If God wants me, if God wants me as your sheriff, I will be your sheriff. If He doesn't, that's fine. I can live with that.
I'm not into politics. I don't, one way or the other, or everything else. But I've got you on my show. I wish you absolutely all the best.
It means everything. Thank you.
How can anybody reach you to vote for you? It's pretty soon, isn't it?
Yes, June 14th.
June 14th.
Early voting, May 28th. My website is Stan Hite, HYT, StanHiteForSheriff.com. It's very simple. StanHiteForSheriff.com. I have a phone number I give out to everybody. I take my own calls. I don't have a secretary. 702-689-2789. 702-689-2789. That's my phone number. Call me if you have any questions.
Stan's got a lot of energy here. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Ninon. Thank you.
Great to have you on my show.
It's a pleasure.
And we need to help the police. Let's get our minds into helping the police and not always saying, oh, they all want money and tickets and all this stuff. It's not true. Being a policeman right now out there on the streets is very, very difficult. You never know who you're going to stop, who's going to pull a gun on you. You just don't know anymore. It's got that bad, and it is that bad, unfortunately.
Crime is rising. Yep, we need to.
But Stan Hite is trying to rectify, do what he wants to do. I hope you've enjoyed what he has to say. I certainly have. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Ninon. I appreciate it. God bless.
Wonderful. We'll be right back with our next guest. Take care.